We're talking about light poundage bows and setups for poundage bows, light poundage bows. I mean, a lot of adults, whether it be seniors or ladies or youth, are shooting bows, 40, 50 pounds. Most of your state regulations, you have to have a bow that is 40 pounds or more. So, people are worried about penetration because they hear of all these other guys that are shooting 65, 70, 75 pounds, and they're worried about penetration. Well, fact of the matter is, bows of today and arrows of today and broadheads of today are better than they've ever been. So 50 pounds is equivalent to about 65 pounds, 10 or 15 years ago, because the bows are that more efficient. They just store that much more energy. So don't be afraid of, don't think that you have to pull 60, 70, 80 pounds and get outside your comfort range. By all means, a 50-pound bow is very adequate for killing a whitetail deer. Now granted, we want you to pull as much weight as you comfortably can and you can effectively shoot and be accurate, but don't let that keep you on the couch. You get out there if it's 50 pounds. You just have to make sure you make the right decisions, and that's as far as spine wise. Easton comes in, most arrow weights come in 3 or 4 different spine weights. You have a 500 spine arrow, a 400, which is a little stiffer, and a 340, which is even more stiff, and then 300 is their stiffest arrow. That's in the Beeman Carmen arrow. Now, the stiffer the arrow, naturally the heavier it is usually, if you're in the same style of arrow. So a 500 spine arrow, you want to make sure that you have an arrow that is plenty stiff enough for the setup that you're shooting. You don't want to have it underspined. Overspined is not an issue, but underspined certainly is. If the arrow is too weak and I'm not able to absorb the energy, it's going to have tuning problems. Now, so once you choose the correct arrow, heavier is a little better as far as penetration, but these arrows that are a little lighter than normal are going to keep a little flatter trajectory. When choosing a broadhead, if you're low kinetic energy or like under 50 pounds, I try to recommend something, a fixed blade broadhead or a cut on contact. And the reason why is it just penetrates better. You don't have to worry about using up any kinetic energy to deploy the blades of the mechanical broadhead. This is a Montech CS, and this is what we call a cut on contact head, meaning from the very start all the way down it's cutting from the word go. You don't have to worry about anything deploying. This is a striker, which is a replaceable blade, but it actually shoots as if it's a cut on contact head because of the style tip that it has. It's sharp, the tip starts cutting, and then you get into the Lux blades, which are extremely sharp. So either one of these broadheads or these style broadheads from other manufacturers will be adequate for lower poundage. They're going to penetrate real well. They have a good cut diameter, and they've proven themselves years and years. So use the correct arrow, proper spine, make sure it's plenty stiff enough, and then also a cut on contact head. And by all means, you can be stacking up deer like cordwood, shooting less than 50 pounds. So 50 pounds today is like 65 10 years ago.